Hey folks, welcome back to Failure at Retirement. Today we're going to continue on with the retirement series. What we're going to talk about today is how exactly did a guy end up retired at 50? Well, the short answer here, fellas, it's because my wife told me to. Because Mrs. Failure told me you should retire. I mean, how can you not love her for that, right? And I did learn along the way, if Mrs. Failure's speaking, guy better listen, if you know what I mean. Guy better pay attention. Get in a lot of trouble if you don't. This one seemed like worth paying attention to. So here's the whole story. Here's the backstory on why Mrs. Failure told the guy to retire at 50. Honestly, I figured I'd work until I was 70 at least. I didn't really see retirement in my future. But here's what happened. So, first ranch a guy leased to start farming in 2008. And then it was, I believe, 2010, in the kind of early weird time of the year, guy was able to lease another 100 acres right next door, which was amazing. And then in 2012, trying to get it leased again, the landlord would only go year to year. So I'm trying to get it leased again, and he tells me he'd a lot rather sell it to me than lease it. And now buying land was not in Failure's plan at the time. It was not part of his business plan when he started farming. I figured out one of the reasons why I was able to start farming when I did. My good friend Larry helped me figure out that owning land in California to farm ain't worth it. The property taxes are too high for the most part, and fairly often a guy can lease the ground for less than the property tax, and how that makes sense, like nobody knows, but that's a fact. So I actually told the landlord right up front that there's two kind of people in this world, landowners and sharecroppers, and I'm a sharecropper. And well, then he told me what he wanted for it, and well, the guy just couldn't back away from that, really. So 2012, we bought that 100 acres. Later on, we leased another 80 acres. And so we own this land. And then, next thing that happens, get around to 2013, my lease is up on that first ranch. Guys that own it are over it, they're broke, and they tell me all of a sudden that they're putting it up for sale. Nothing I did. I tried to buy it, but their initial asking price was, I told them I'd try, but they didn't. I told them it'd take me a long time to raise the money, and they didn't want to wait. They wanted a quick sale. So that 400 acres went away in 2013 when my lease was up. A guy bought it and started farming it. So I pretty quickly went from a point where it's all my boy and I can do to farm all this ground to where, wow, we probably don't have enough left to make a living. So briefly went back to town, got me a sales job, spent, I don't know, a little over a year. No, actually, I only had that job about maybe 6, 8 months. But it was probably a little over a year from the time I lost that lease till I woke up one morning, and I wanted to own this ranch in my hometown for most of my life, right? And we had owned it for 3 years and 3 months at the end of it. But I woke up one morning, told Mrs. Failure, we got to sell that ranch. She's like, what in the world are you talking about? You worked so hard to get it. It's what you wanted your whole life. And I said, you know what? I've been listening to Dave Ramsey. We are literally one bad crop away from losing everything. Not just the ranch, the house, everything. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I can't. And I'm like, I don't want to take that kind of risk. We work too hard to get where we are. I don't want to take that kind of risk. It's one thing if you're full time farming and you're flipping a lot of dollars. That'll be in another video, flipping dollars, future video. Subscribe for that. Anyway, I'm back working in town. We got this ranch. I tell her, I'm going to quit this job. We're going to sell this ranch. And she says, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. Like, it don't matter. If we sell the ranch, we'll have enough. We won't have, travel the world, do what you want kind of retirement, but we'll have a blue collar retirement where we can just we won't have any concerns. The bills will be paid. I'll probably just get a job at Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and just something simple to pay the utility bill and the grocery bill until we hit Social Security. And she says, no, that's not happening. She's like, you can sell the ranch. That's fine. I'm on board with that. But you need to retire. I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? Like, we don't have that kind of money. Like, how is this going to work? And she says, you know what? She says, your job moving forward is to manage the investments, manage our money, make sure the money's working for us. And I think if you pay attention to that and you do a good job of it, just like you've been doing on the farming and everything else, if you put a lot of thought into it and you manage it properly, we'll be just fine. And so took me it took me a while to wrap my brain around that. But we did sell the ranch, sold it for a little past 4 times what we paid for it. So right there, that was the out of the park home run. Selling 100 acres, 4 times what you paid for it in California, that was the out of the park home run. And so right there, I just got busy doing just exactly what she told me. I learned a long time ago, do what the woman tells me. Like, if Mrs. Failure speaking, pay attention. So I set about managing the investments. And it took me months, like, to get all the money routed to where I, first of all, figure out what to do with it. And I had a couple solid friends step up and help me. My buddy Mike Irwin and my other buddy here locally, they both told me what to do, and it took them a little convincing, but I went their direction. Excellent advice from the two of them, and got the money invested. Took months, on the kind of work I'd never thought I'd do. Honestly, attorneys and the whole nine, like crazy. I never done nothing like that. But we got her figured out, got everything invested. Was still had other things going on. Still had the 80 acres leased. Still had some farm work I was doing for other people. But I could see almost immediately the major change is guy's not really on a schedule anymore. Like, you don't have to be out there at 6 p.m. to turn the pumps on, start irrigating 6, 7 nights a week. You don't have to do that. You don't have to get crops planted on a certain time. And, with all those crops we're growing, we're just, goodness sakes, in the spring, just till, and cultivate, spray. Like, I mean, it was nonstop, 7 days a week. And now all of a sudden, guys got a meeting, with some investment person or some attorney or some whatever. Now a guy's life is not about irrigating. Throw them rubber boots away, and I don't really have to change his snappy fashion sense, but uh, throw them rubber boots away and put on a semi decent shirt to go meet with somebody who seems important. Anyway, yeah, so that's how failure's life changed in really literally the course of 6 months or something. And here we are today, and well established fact, kind of a failure at it, but the important thing is not on the schedule. Don't have the man's boot on my neck. Um, kind of just doing what a guy wants to do, but unfortunately, a guy don't know how to do anything but work. And over time, I have improved at it. Like in the beginning, oh my God, like I worked that first year after we sold that ranch, I worked harder than I ever worked. I'm not kidding you. Like it was one thing after another after another. But then over time, guys started to kind of adapt into it, and just priorities change, and that's fine. That's just life, right? So there you go. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Drop the question. Like happy to answer it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Got a couple more of these coming up, and we'll see. If you guys like them and you're watching them a lot, maybe I'll just kind of keep right on. Like I am good at running my mouth. I don't really know nothing, but I can run my mouth. So appreciate you watching. Have a good day.